Good morning from a hotel room somewhere in Wales. The kettle's just boiling and the time now is 5 to 5. Don't know if you can see that. There we are, 5 to 5. I've been awake since 3. I came away yesterday because I wanted to try and do this big video, and so it was a business trip. It was a filming trip. Unfortunately, it went absolutely disastrously. I got a little video last night, little vlog video around Porthmadog where I've stayed, but the video I tried to do really didn't come to anything. But it gave me, when I was led there last night, I was in bed by 8 last night, and I was just thinking about sort of getting back home today. There's quite a few things that are happening, so I'm going to take you on a journey home and actually hopefully try and get a video out of this. So I'll see you in the car in a second. I love this time of the year because it's light, as in light, but it's only 5 o'clock. So literally 5 minutes from my last bit, I took one sip of coffee. I really want to get on the road, so let's go. So now 5:07 and I'm already at the foot of the mountains. This is a main road and I've got it all to myself. I'm not going to dance on it obviously, but look at that. I think I might get the big camera out for that. That's worth it. I know when I went to Scotland, it was like this, except although I can hear something in the distance, whether that's a motorbike or a car, when I went to Scotland, there was nothing. Absolutely nothing. It was just dead quiet. Now, I'm somewhere of nowhere at the moment. Somewhere of nowhere? Yeah, I'm here. That steakhouse over there. I remember the very, very first time I came here, which was nearly 30 years ago, it must have been, and I always said I'd eat in that steakhouse. Unfortunately, for the last 15, it's been closed down, and I never got the chance. Now, I don't think I had a huge amount of money, but I wanted to eat in there. As I said, it was 30 years ago. But I just think that does highlight that sometimes you have to take the opportunities today, because you never know what tomorrow might bring. And that's only a steakhouse, isn't it? But you know what might happen to your health, what might happen to your family, what might happen to your car, your life in general, because things can change. I've just paused momentarily, and there's a camper van behind me. There's a caravan and a camper and a car. So I thought I'd be respectful. I'll head on. I do have something I'm going to say actually, and I'll do it the next bit when I stop in a minute. Up for you. said to me a while ago, you need to be mindful, you need to be careful, because you can spend so long hoping and planning for the future that actually you don't realise that what you've got right now, that's what you used to pray for. I've always liked weird things. And somebody's built a garage in a lay-by on the side of the mountain. Look, it's a ramshackle garage. Someone's actually built that. I like little things like that. I mean, it's literally full of crap. But it is a garage built in a lay-by. Weird. I always said I'd buy that if it came up, and then it did, and it was a fortune. But whilst there is a part of me that thinks that yes, you should always be grateful for what you've got, look at the beauty just around you, there is a little something as well where I think, should we strive for the future? Should we be looking for the life we want to create for ourselves? And that's interesting in its own right. Let me tell you a story. Four and a half years ago, I was at a junction in my life. I'd always identified myself as being a father, not a stay-at-home father, but certainly a semi-stay-at-home dad. In fact, over the years, I had stayed home quite a lot of the time to look after the children. And my identity was working a 50-60 hour week, whilst running children around and taking them to ballet and kickboxing and, you know, getting the wood in for the fire and going shopping. I was a full-time homemaker and also working. It was a huge, huge thing. But then, through no choice of my own, I don't say no fault of my own, no choice of my own, my world came crashing down. And it's actually started to rain now. It was literally raining in my life. I thought I'd built this wonderful, beautiful, safe place like this. And yet everything I thought I knew was taken away. So, with my life falling down around me, separation, to be divorced, and losing everything that I identified with, and I don't just mean the home, but I had no money. All the people that offered me work, with the exception of one, and they know who they are. One family-run funeral firm stuck by me, and that was the only money I had to survive, to live on, and I couldn't afford to rent anything, so I had to go and stay with family. And so for 6 months I was trying to find myself, trying to work out what it is I wanted to do with my life, who I wanted to be, who I was, what life I wanted to create. And it wasn't just that after that 6 months everything suddenly became good. It took about a year before I started to think, okay, what is it I want to do? Where do I want to go? But it took even longer. It took even longer because it was some time afterwards that I had the support of a new loving relationship, the financial security through changing work and business, and being able to work far more remotely and on my own terms. And I knew what I wanted to do. For the first time in my life, I had clarity. Now, I think it's quite a little tiny bit ironic, really. But if you look at the mountains over there, absolutely covered in cloud, far from clear of sky. But I think the detail that cloud and those mountains sort of give, this simple beauty of just being out in nature and being free. I mean, it's now what? It's 5 to 6 in the morning, and I'm out here. You know, I do have work to do today, but I'll be doing it from my laptop wherever I happen to be. That didn't come easy. That took a lot of work and organisation, and indeed sacrifice, to do that. But that was what I wanted to do with my life, and so that was what I had to try and create. So I suppose what I'm saying in all of this is, you know, anyone can be happy, anyone can create the life that they want, but sometimes you need this major thing to happen for you to challenge everything. To challenge everything. So returning to the idea of be mindful of today, think about today, and actually think, whilst I still look ahead for the future, and I think we always will, you know, is today that day that I used to pray for? It's pretty good. I think this trip has been about remembering that inspiration. That inspiration that I felt years ago when I was still married and Noah was only just born. And the family came, my wife and I and 4 children, Noah had just been born, and mum and dad. And we went to stay at Portmeirion in one of the self-catering cottages. And I'd got this cracking deal. I'd got this huge, biggest accommodation for about £300. And I'd gone halves with mum for an impromptu weekend. And we really didn't have a lot of money as a family back then. But I just remember sitting there in this cottage and thinking, wouldn't it be good? Wouldn't life be wonderful if I could come to this sort of place, this sort of very affluent place, you know, whenever I wanted to. And it's not about having lots of money, it's about that financial freedom. The fact that, you know, you can go and do things, you can be time rich to go and do these things, because you can always find a deal somewhere, can't you? But about being time rich. Because I know I've said before, time is this bank account that, you know, we all only got one and we don't know how much time's left in it. I know I've said that before, but I do genuinely mean, I believe that. I really do believe that, and I think that's very important. I think we miss that so often. But yeah, I think this has been about remembering this trip. I couldn't quite work out why I wanted to come so desperately. You know, I thought, oh, is it just about seizing the day? Is it about it's an opportunity to come? You know, should I come? Should I do it? But I genuinely think that I just needed to remember that reason, that inspiration for wanting to be time rich.